Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make the clubhouse from the show Hey Duggee. Not only have I designed the entire outside of the build to the best of my abilities, but I have also designed the inside as well. This was a little bit tricky as there doesn't seem to be a definitive layout for the inside of the clubhouse, or at least not one that's very easy to find. So I have done my absolute best, but there may be some things that aren't 100% perfectly right, but do feel free to change those yourself if you know better than me, which you probably do. Also, we're playing hide and seek. Leave a comment letting me know if you spot me in the intro of this video. This is the amount of space required to make the clubhouse, a 15 block wide by 13 block long area as represented by this handy grid on the screen. To find the starting position, we simply begin right at the front left hand corner of the grid. And here are all of the materials that we will use throughout the build. Please do make sure that you have access to all of these. Start off by placing 9 spruce planks extending up from the ground. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then extend to the right by 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Then extend all the way down to the ground, but return all the way back up to the top and continue extending backwards by 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And extend that 12th block all the way down to the ground. But return back up to the top, extend across the back of the build, join to the front corner of the build, and then extend this corner block down. And in doing this, we create the basic shape of the walls of the clubhouse. So, the next thing we will do is completely fill in the left and right sides of the clubhouse. We are filling these in with spruce planks. I'm certain there must be some sort of other detail on the sides of the clubhouse, but that was super hard to find. I couldn't really find a definitive image on what the side of the clubhouse looked like. I did find the front and the back, but the sides are a mystery. Let's turn our attention to the front of the clubhouse now. Come all the way down to the bottom left hand side and place a row of 1, 2, 3 spruce planks extending to the right. Then a red terracotta, destroy 2 rows in the ground, replace those with stripped birch wood. I don't know whether I would prefer for the wood to extend this way or this way. It does make a difference. I want you to choose your favourite. I'm going to try this way though. Then we will place a red terracotta, destroy 2 more rows, place 2 more stripped birch wood, another red terracotta, and then extend to the right with spruce planks. We then extend the red terracottas up by 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Join them together across the top. Place pink terracotta underneath, and mangrove doors inside the empty spaces. We then place 2 rows of yellow terracotta on top of the door frame. We then want to place a 2 by 2 square of black concrete in each one of the 4 corners of the wall, just like this. We can then fill in between all of the gaps in using spruce planks. And that is how we will leave the front of the clubhouse for now. So let's turn our attention to the back of the clubhouse. So here we will first of all connect the bottom of the clubhouse together, just left to right across the back. Then starting on the left, we will place 1, 2, 3 spruce planks, and then 7 blue terracotta. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then 3 cyan concrete extending up. 1, 2, 3. Yellow terracotta on top. Extend it to the left to equal the length of the blue terracotta row, and then join down using lime terracotta like this to form a rectangle. We then want to fill the middle of this in with pink concrete, just like so. And then we can just go ahead and fill the entire rest of the back of the build in with spruce planks. And now that we have done that, we will place a polished blackstone button here, 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 and here, and then we will turn our attention to the interior floor. So we are going to completely remove all of the grass from inside of the build, and then replace it all with stripped birch wood. And this is where the stripped birch wood positioning comes into play. So I'm placing it so that it extends long ways across the width of the clubhouse, because I think it looks a little bit better. However, you can have it face the other way. The only real important thing is that it matches. So no matter which direction you pick, make sure it goes the same way throughout the entire floor, and it's good. Now we are going to focus on the roof. Begin by placing a row of dark oak slab extending across the top of the front of the clubhouse, just like this. We then want to extend the ends inwards and upwards until we are roughly above the center of the clubhouse. Now, I think that this is the middle, but if you want to check, you can place an equivalent row of dark oak slabs on the back of the clubhouse, and you can start extending upwards and inwards, and you can meet it in the middle. Once we have that shape, we want to fill the side of the roof section in with enough spruce planks so that we don't have any gaps. And we also want to repeat this onto the opposite side as well. So I'm just going to extend across the back, and I'm kind of going to extend the roof upwards and inwards simultaneously, both from the front and the back at the same time, until we join in the middle like this. And then we can fill this in with spruce planks, just like so. And that's perfect. So that's what we want. We want the edge of the roof. And this is important because the roof is quite interesting, to be quite honest. Starting here, we want to place an oak slab. And then next to it will be a dark oak slab. And next to that, a jungle slab. Dark oak, spruce. Dark oak, stone slab. And then the pattern repeats again. We're going to repeat that very same pattern. So dark oak, oak, dark oak, jungle, dark oak, spruce, dark oak, stone. And as you can see, there is enough room for this to repeat along. And then this might even be easier if we use planks for this instead. So the row behind this is just going to be fully dark oak planks. So now we want to make another pattern for the next part of the roof. We will place an oak slab, dark oak slab, jungle slab, dark oak, spruce, dark oak, stone slab, dark oak, oak, dark oak, jungle, dark oak, spruce, dark oak, stone slab. And that is pretty much the entire roof, believe it or not. So we just keep repeating these 3 rows over and over again. So behind these rows will be another row of dark oak planks. And then I'm going to jump the gun a little bit, and then I'm going to place another row of dark oak planks behind this, because we know that every other row is a dark oak plank row, and I'm going to do this for the back of the roof also. So I'm just making every other row dark oak, and then that just makes placing these next parts easier. And we also know that these rows in the middle, so in between all of these blocks, are also dark oak. So we can preemptively place a bunch of dark oak, and then that just leaves the pattern. So it makes it a lot easier if we just place all of the dark oak first, and then we can just slot in the appropriate slabs as we extend up and down the roof. So we essentially turn it into a big giant grid like this, and then we repeat the first row of the roof again. So in this position, in the order that I have the blocks: oak, jungle, spruce, stone, oak, jungle, spruce, stone. And then we jump up to the middle, and then it's just the same thing again, but moving in the opposite direction. So it's kind of like just a game of Snake, really. So we extend all the way up the roof like this, and then on the back side of the roof, we just do the exact same thing. And it's as easy as that. Now let's turn our attention to the front of the build. Throw down a loom, open it up, place a black banner in there with some red dye. We have to make some windows, and to do that we simply apply the bourgeois pattern followed by the fast pattern, and that's it. So we have to do this in red, we have to do this using the light blue dye, so fresh banner, light blue dye, bourgeois, fess, and we repeat this for every single other banner. Or for every single other dye, I should say. So red, blue, green, and then finally yellow, bourgeois, fess. So that's perfect. So now we can apply these to the windows. So a double red banner here in the top left hand corner, double blue in the top right, double green in the bottom right, and then double yellow here on the bottom left. And underneath the windows, we want corresponding sign colours. So we've got bamboo for yellow, mangrove for red, and then warped signs for blue. And unfortunately, there isn't a green sign. So I've had to reuse the warp sign, unfortunately, but that's okay. Next, we are going to add some further details to the clubhouse by placing polished blackstone buttons in these positions and stone buttons in these positions. We also want to place oak buttons in these positions as well. So next to this window here and here, we also want one here, and I'll just give you a second to look at all of that. We also want to have oak buttons here, and we want to have them here. We also want to place some signs in certain positions as well. So an oak sign here, 2 spruce signs here, some spruce signs here, oak sign here, 2 warped signs here, 2 spruce signs here, acacia button here, jungle signs next to this window, then spruce signs above this window, and two jungle signs actually, here and here. And in addition to that, we are just going to place spruce signs left and right of the warped signs, and this is what we have. So, unfortunately, we can't fit what I would like to fit above the door. So, above the door should be the words clubhouse. So, the reason that we can't place it, C-L-U-B-H-O-U-S-E. So, as you can see, the word clubhouse is simply too long. I would have loved to have placed it. And then you may be wondering, why can't we just extend the sign so that it's longer than the top of the door? And that is absolutely possible. And at the very end of this video, I will actually give you the option of just writing out the word clubhouse as well. But aesthetically, this is like perfectly balanced. We can't really make it any bigger, but we can make the sign a little bit later. Next, we are going to turn our attention to the back of the build. So, on the back of the build, we will place 2 oak buttons here in this position, and 2 jungle buttons here in this position, 2 acacia buttons here in this position. Coming over to the right side now, 2 oak buttons in this position, an acacia here, then a jungle here, and lastly for the buttons, a jungle here. So these are the positions for all of the buttons. And then on the back of the build, we want to place a dark oak sign here, and then a spruce here, jungle here, oak here, dark oak here, spruce here, jungle here, gap, 2 spruce here. Then on this opposite side here, jungle, dark oak here, spruce here, dark oak here, gap, jungle, gap, 1, 2, 3 spruce. So we just want to have something that should look like this. With the entire outside of the build complete, we can now head inside and work on the interior. First of all, we have to make the walls. To do this, we will place a row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stripped jungle wood across the back of the build. So, unlike the stripped birch, I don't think it matters which way you place this. I might be wrong. I'm placing it vertically just in case anyway. And we will end up with this. Along this right wall, we will place light blue concrete, and it wants to be the exact same height. On this left wall, we will place pink concrete, and once again, it just matches the height. And then for this front wall, we are going to place pink concrete again, and I'm actually contemplating, so we're definitely leaving the cutout of the door alone, but I don't know whether to extend this sign backwards again. So we could actually write Clubhouse inside here if we wanted to. I think that this would be a good compromise. If we can't place it outside, I've only just thought of this, we can definitely do it inside. So along this back wall is first of all a shelf. 1, 2, 3 oak slabs in this position. Moss carpet here, large amethyst bud here, and a couple of turtle eggs here. We then want to place 2 oak slabs here, flower pot, dandelion, bookshelf, just like this. On this opposite wall, over here, we will place 2 bookshelves, just like this, and then warped trapdoors above, and then 3 warped trapdoors, 1, 2, 3, stacked up, 3 stacked up to the left of this. Sometimes it's harder than it looks, so 1, 2, 3 stacked up on the right as well, and I'll just replace any of these blocks necessary. So there we go. But we do also just have to remove these blocks too. Then we can add some grey terracotta to the back of this, chiseled bookshelf here, green candles here, and we want to stack the bookshelf with some books. Cyan carpet across the top, and that is perfect. We will now turn our attention to over here, where we will place a set of 1, 2, 3 lime terracotta in this position with another row stacked on top. Waxed, this is a long name, waxed weathered cut copper slab in front of it, and then extend the left and right side up with a red candle on the right side of the chair arm. Next, we will remove these 2 blocks and replace them with shulker boxes, placed like this. We also want to create a shelf. We'll leave a gap of 1 and then 2 oak slabs with a light blue shulker box here and a bookshelf here. And then on this wall we just need 2 solid blocks, these will do, and then spruce trapdoors underneath and on top and to the sides as well, so this is always fun. There we go. And we also want pale oak trapdoors flipped up either side, just like this. And now that we've done that, we can turn our attention to this wall, where we will leave a gap of 2 and then place 1, 2, 3, 4 yellow terracotta, extend up, 2 acacia slabs here, and here, with mangrove slabs in between, a set of 3, 1, 2, 3 oak slabs here, like this, bookshelf here, then chisel bookshelf here, and then we just want to populate it with some books. Couple of turtle eggs here. We then get to add some fake shadows by removing these blocks here and placing black terracotta, and these ones replaced with black terracotta. Underneath this shelf, black terracotta. In front of this chair, and underneath the TV. By the way, this is a TV. The way that we represent this is by placing a painting right here. That'll do, actually. So in terms of paintings, we need to place a few more. So a single one here, and on this opposite wall, we want a single painting here, and here as well. So preferably, I think that's the only one that's repeated thus far. Oh, okay, perfect. So we have placed all of those paintings. That is perfect. And next we have to make some banners. So the first one is a clock. Throw down loom, open it up, orange banner in there with black dye, and apply the pale pattern, followed by the fess. Put orange dye in there, and apply the pale dexter and base pattern. And then lastly, brown dye, and apply the ball draw pattern. We can then place this clock banner right here. Next, we have to make possibly some of my favourite banners that I've ever made, actually. A set of fake windows. So to make these, we need a light blue banner with some green dye, and we apply the base pattern. Throw that back in with some brown dye, and apply the board draw, and then fess pattern. It's fake window number 1. Fake window number 2 starts off the same way, so blue banner, green dye, base, but this time we're going to add the sun to it, so we will apply the Chief Sinister Canton pattern using the yellow dye, brown dye back in there, and then board draw, and then fess. And I like this so much that I might even make like a shorts about this. This is like a perfect window for the outside. So if we did want to, we could kind of like complete this effect with a bit of brown concrete here. And then we just want to match the colour of the frame. And that looks awesome. Next up, we have to make the ceiling. So this is obviously no good. We want to place a series of dark oak slabs to make this. So we're actually just going to have to raise up the sides of these walls a little bit. I think that this will be just fine. And starting from the top of the wall here at the back, we just want to have a series of dark oak slabs that extend up like this, and then we can just extend them to the opposite side of this wall. So they will peak here and then start extending down, and yeah, this is perfect. So I'm just realizing, if we do in fact want to write out the word clubhouse here, we do have to actually raise this up one row. So we'll just have to raise up the yellow and pink here, and stripped jungle woods. There we go, here. And then we should be able to, so we'll start literally just above this, so here, so above this second row of yellow terracotta, and then, yeah, there we go, perfect. So this just extends down, and yeah, that way we should be able to write out the word clubhouse. Again, at least on the inside of the build, I'm not sure, I've literally not tried it at this point in the video. When I designed this, I kind of like wrote off the idea of doing it, but as I was making the tutorial, as this sometimes happens, I start feeling a little bit more creative, and I think that we can just apply it to the side, to the front of the clubhouse if we want to, but if that doesn't look good, we can definitely just do it in here as well, and I think that will look good. So there we go, that's the ceiling, and now let's grab some banner making supplies. So start off by throwing down loom, open it up, place a yellow banner in there with some red dye. The first letter we have to make is C. So this is Chief, Base, and Pale Dexter. Next is L. So this letter appears to be brown. So we're going to apply the Pale Dexter and Base. The next letter is U. So this letter appears to be orange. So Pale Dexter, Pale Sinister, and Base. Next is B. So this kind of looks like brown again. So the reason that I'm not sure, by the way, is I'm looking at the sign now and they're kind of like in between colours. Like this is kind of like a magenta terracotta-y colour, which we can't replicate with dye, so we'll use brown. Or maybe purple, actually. Let's try purple. So, fresh banner in there, purple dye, pale Dexter, pale Sinister, Chief, Fess, base. So, club, and then house, this is definitely brown. So, H, brown dye in there. This is pale Dexter, pale Sinister, Fess. Next is O. This is most certainly red. So, red dye in there, pale Dexter, pale Sinister, Chief, and base. Next is U. This is kind of like a weird in-between colour as well, but we're going to call this purple too. So this is pale Dexter, pale Sinister, and then base. And then next is S. This is once again kind of like an in-between colour. So we're just going to go for let's go for orange for this one. So we'll go Chief, base, and then bend, and then lastly is E. So this is again kind of a weird colour, but we'll go with brown. So Chief, Fess, base, and then pale Dexter. And I do urge you to look up like what the clubhouse sign does look like, or maybe you just know from memory, and you'll see what I'm talking about with like the colours. It's kind of crazy, but CLUBHOUSE. I think that looks pretty cool. I really like that. So let's try and apply it to the outside here. So again, we can't extend the yellow because it will look insane. So we just have to start one row outside of the yellow. Better or worse? Do we add the yellow anyway? Let's see. So I'm just in case I lose any of these, I'm just going to place them on the ground. Let's experiment. It doesn't look bad with the yellow terracotta extended out either side, but I think that this is a personal choice sort of deal. So I'll leave it like that, and this is how the intro will actually look. So this will be very confusing until you watch this part of the video, but yeah, that's what we're going to go with. With that final detail added, ladies and gentlemen, we have officially completed this tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.